Well, I couldn't think of a better title than what I have on this video. What you're witnessing is a conversation between myself and backwoods. Fake hunting rifles. So, we'll start with the first one. It's a Winchester 94 AE DLX. Now that is a mouthful, right? So it's the Winchester 94 AE, backwoods may be familiar with, but for some of y'all who aren't, Winchester 94 is like a top ejecting rifle. Really cool action. I want to say one of the few weapons out there that wasn't designed by John Moses Browning. Most are, oddly enough. But anyway, the AE stands for angle eject. So instead of normally the Winchester 94, whenever you shoot it and you pull the lever and you eject the cartridge, it goes straight up. The AE was designed to come off at an angle, say like about a 45-degree angle to the right, allowing for a top-mounted scope, similar to what you get kind of automatically on a Marlin type lever action, kind of duplicating their process. Only the Marlin is a side eject and sort of built for that kind of thing. And I believe, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, was designed by John Moses Browning. So the story of this Winchester is it sat underneath a bed in a house that was being rented out, and the renter ended up not paying their, whatever you call it when you pay the rent, when you don't pay it, and they got evicted and left a few things in the garage and left this rifle under the bed. Had a, I want to say it was a Bushnell, one of those Bushnell wide views on the top, like what you would get for the Bushnell wide view, I think, is one of those good scopes for a 22, like your like a Ruger 1022. But it had that scope mounted up on see-through sights, aluminum, and looked cool. I mean, it looked like what you would think of as a stereotypical hunting rifle for down here. And it was given to me, and I took it out to the rifle range to sight it in, and man, I could not, this is another story of I could not bring that reticle over far enough, and didn't really bore sight it. Still haven't taken it to a gunsmith. Even man, I've had this rifle for maybe 15 years now, and so at the time I'm watching these other videos about, and I'm talking to techs also, and watching these videos about scope mounts, and you need this and you need that, and I thought the problem might have been the scope itself. So I mounted it was a Nikon Pro Staff to it. That's how I ended up with a Nikon Pro Staff, and it mounted up sort of funny, like it didn't want to fit in the rings all that well, but I put it down and still was really far over. And then finally I bore sighted this thing and found that the rings were way off, like as they were mounted to the rifle, if I'm describing it well enough. And watching YouTube videos about it, which is somewhat of a mistake. It's like, oh, it's because they're aluminum, they're obviously bent, so I buy another set. I don't think I get steel ones. They have like a steel mount. It was like a lower mount. It was lower. So, oh, the other part about the Winchester 94 AE, it's pre-drilled for optics. That's another thing about the rifle. And to make a long story short, this Winchester 94 AE Deluxe, like, this is one of the epitome of the Winchester 94 rifles, was made incorrectly. The breech on the back, one side of it is lifted higher up than the other side. Now, I've not looked at another 94 AE to compare. It could be just the way that those rifles are built, which that would make more sense. I mean, these things have like proof steel, and it could be a matter of how the 94 AE is. But one side of the back, you know, as the two ridges come back further towards the back part of the injection zone, the right-hand side is higher up than the left. So any optics that you mount to the back of it are canted over. Now, Tex Grebner, trying to help me out with this thing, you know, he's got his Marlin, which he converted from a leaf style of optic to a peep, tried to direct me to that, and I'm trying to explain to him, no, it wouldn't work, because the way the back of the breech is, it's higher on one side than the other, so it would throw the peep off, and the breech, and it would cant it way too far over. So we go back and forth about it, and come up with this plan, which I didn't follow through on, with going with the XS front rail, turning it into like a scout rifle. And I tried a couple other things, and he makes fun of me to this day. I put a shorty rail on the front, because one of the kits that I got had like where you could put a small weaver rail on the rear mount and a small weaver rail on the front mount, and then go with a lower mounted scope. But I ended up only using the front weaver mounted rail, and I put a red dot on there, which I went with a very inexpensive red dot, which was supposedly made in the USA. I mean, it was cheap, and Tex makes fun of me to this day. And I tried shooting it, and man, that thing just rattled like you wouldn't believe, and didn't hold zero, didn't hold shit. And again, I'm paying the price for it to this day. But to make a long story short, there this rifle was. Had these see-through scopes, you know, had this scope mounted to it. Looked like it was ready to hunt, you know? And lo and behold, if somebody had tried to take that thing out as it sat and hunted with it, you wouldn't have done anything, nothing at all. I've hunted more with that rifle, just open sights with a leaf. Never killed a deer with it. I think one hog, maybe not even that. I've carried it in the woods many a day, but it still ain't killed nothing. A squirrel, I shot a squirrel with it. That's the one thing that I've shot with that Winchester 94. But it's not the last of the rifle of its kind. But you know, it's kind of like when shooters, the difference between shooters and hunters. You know, a shooter would have this, oh, there's the hunting rifle, you know, but when you actually got to bang around in the woods with it, it ends up being a different story. So I think I have two more stories like this. It's something that happens to me. I mean, it's wonderful to be thought of. I mean, it's a serious honor, like when somebody sees a rifle like that and they think, oh, well, I'll give this to Ron. He hunts. He'd appreciate this. This thing needs to go to somebody who'd appreciate it. And there you have it. Yep, two more to go. So this is going to be a 3-part series. All right. Y'all take it easy.